Gunfire erupts as a man reportedly points a gun at deputies. We find out what led up to this deadly officer-involved shooting.
Disturbing new details tonight surrounding a teen accused of threatening to shoot up his school. Investigators now say that wasn't the only attack he was planning.
And another shot of wintry weather. You're looking at it live on Storm Tracker. We're going to see some snow tonight. I'm tracking it for you coming up.
Live, local, breaking news. You're watching News Channel 3, live at 5.
A barrage of gunfire leaves one man dead.
Yeah, investigators say he was shot by police during an hour-long standoff today at a mobile home park in Kalamazoo County. Today's deadly officer-involved shooting comes 7 years to the day that Kalamazoo Public Safety Officer Eric Zapata died in the line of duty. Zapata was shot after he was called in to back up another officer at Hayes Park. Today, on social media, KDPS posted a tribute to Officer Zapata. It says in part, quote, "Gone, but never forgotten. Not a day goes by that we don't remember his smile, his crazy antics, and his amazing dedication to our community." Today, we asked officers if the anniversary was on their minds as they responded to this incident.
I'm confident that everyone was able to put that aside to deal with this, and that they were not clouded in judgment when dealing with this at all. So it's a terrible coincidence.
Since Zapata's death, a memorial has been set up in his honor to provide scholarships to those hoping to become police officers one day. On News Channel 3's Jake Barrett was the only reporter on scene at today's shooting as it all unfolded.
Once again, a deadly police-involved shooting at a Kalamazoo area mobile home park. Jake, what did you see when you got there?
Well, when we first got here at 12:30, we saw officers with guns drawn, about 5 or 6 of them taking shelter behind their vehicles about 100 yards from where we are right now, where you see all that police chase. They were surrounding a man who was hanging outside the door of a van and had a gun. Now, officers pleaded with the man for an hour to put the gun down, but eventually the suspect made his move and police opened fire. And just like that, the standoff was over. About an hour before the barrage of gunfire that left one suspect dead, police were called to Pavilion Estates to remove a man and a woman who were squatting on someone else's property in their van.
Male subject brandished a firearm. My information is that he fired that weapon into the air, and then we began about an hour-long negotiation attempting to get him to put the weapon down.
More and more police arrived as the situation escalated. Neighbors like Taylor Minema stood outside to watch the standoff.
And he's like, well, everybody needs to go inside, because of all the guns, and, everybody's got to stay safe. And it's like, at first, it's like, I got like an adrenaline rush. It kind of scared me at first, and then I'm like, well, this is kind of cool.
She says the suspect was hostile towards police.
He just kept screaming at the cops, calling them all sorts of names and everything, and just begging them to shoot him.
With guns drawn, police cleared the street and told our crew to move back to a safer location. 40 minutes later, police say the suspect made his move.
The individual approached the deputies and other police officers, pointed a weapon at them.
That's when several officers opened fire, killing the man. Kalamazoo County Undersheriff James Van Dyken said they did all they could. Now, Michigan State Police have been out here for hours. Undersheriff Van Dyken said they did everything they could to try and save the man's life and avoid having to open fire. Now, state police are investigating this shooting now. No one else was injured in this whole incident. That woman I mentioned who was with the man, she was unharmed, but as it turns out from talking to neighbors, they were no strangers to neighbors in this trailer park. We'll tell you more about that coming up at 6. For now, we're live in Kalamazoo County. Jake Barrett, News Channel 3.
We are still awaiting a decision tonight about whether a 15-year-old boy accused of plotting a massacre at Paw Paw High School will be charged as an adult. Authorities say the boy had guns, explosives, and a lot of ammunition in his bedroom when his mother turned him into police last month. News Channel 3's Rachel Glazer is live now at the Van Buren County Courthouse, where some disturbing and very graphic details are emerging tonight. Rachel.
Yeah, Andy, that's right. Testimony is still going on inside here, but some of the most shocking new details to come out of court here today came from the suspect's notebook. Investigators say they found it in the 15-year-old boy's closet with his name written on the front. Now, a lot of those writings reference desires to commit mass murder and violence against women. Arms handcuffed and chains, his legs as well. The 15-year-old sat with his mom at the defense table holding hands while his journal was read out loud in court. One passage read that, "What if I killed everyone in my geometry class and raped all of the good-looking women? He." Investigators also highlighted passages that discuss plans to set off bombs at South Haven's fireworks show this 4th of July. Now, that was before the journal zeroed in on plans to shoot up his school. The defense argues the Paw Paw High School student was bullied after a classmate shared an embarrassing photo of him online and that he didn't actually commit any violence. The school resource officer testified the suspect never made a complaint about bullying during the 1 year he was at Paw Paw High School. He had also never been in trouble until a teacher asked to see another notebook, his so-called bomb book, 6.5 pages of pictures and directions on how to make explosives found at school.
I look around every time I'm in a crowded place like Walmart or PPHS.
Where's PPHS?
Paw Paw High School. Okay. And I can only imagine myself pulling out an Uzi and mowing down every single toxic waste that happens to have the fortune of being in the same spot as my gun.
Now, the prosecution is asking that the 15-year-old be tried as an adult, saying that this went well beyond just drawing pictures and writing down plans. Coming up new at 6 o'clock, find out what investigators have to say about the suspect's alleged hit list. Reporting live in Van Buren County, Rachel Glazer, News Channel 3.
All right, checking weather now. A winter weather advisory is on the way. Here's a live look over downtown Kalamazoo. All quiet now, but that will be changing later tonight. Here's Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson in Severe Weather Center 3. Keith.
That's right. Big changes on the way, Andy. And you know, it was just a few hours ago we were seeing sunshine. Now we're seeing rain. The good news with this system, it moves out in a hurry, but between now and the time it does move out, it's going to be leaving by a little bit of a mess. Live Doppler radar right now showing rain moving across the area. We put it into motion and you can see that peak shading out over the lake. That's the mix of rain and some snow. Right now, the showers continue to move through Kalamazoo and Battle Creek. Headed your way, Hastings. You're going to be getting wet here in about another 5 or 10 minutes or so, and there's more where that came from as well. This is all wrapping around an area of low pressure. On the other side of the lake, the snow is heavy right now west of Milwaukee to Madison, Wisconsin, and we're going to see that changeover from rain to snow later tonight. Right now, we're on the warmer side of things with temperatures in the low 40s, 42 in Kalamazoo, 43 in Battle Creek. As our temperatures chill later on tonight, we'll see that rain turn to snow. That's likely to happen by about 11 o'clock or midnight. Then overnight, we'll see some wet snow. That's why we have a winter weather advisory. You see the area shaded in blue here. That's where we have that advisory that goes into effect at 11 o'clock tonight through 8 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going to show you the progress of that storm, tell you what it's going to be leaving behind hour by hour. That's coming up.
All right, Keith, thank you. New information in the case of a Portage woman accused of killing her own mother. News Channel 3 broke this news last night. Susan Kubitschek was charged with second-degree murder in the death of 87-year-old Dorothy Allen. Prosecutors say Kubitschek intentionally overdosed her mother with morphine in the final days of her life. News Channel 3's Mike Kravsik is live tonight at the Sheriff's Office with more. Mike.
Well, Kate, Kubitschek was responsible for caring for her mother, who was in hospice care. Now, prosecutors say Kubitschek admitted to knowingly giving her mother too much morphine in the days leading up to her death.
According to her autopsy, 87-year-old Dorothy Allen died from the combined toxic effects of morphine, sedatives, and painkillers. Detectives testified more than 10 times the therapeutic amount of morphine was found in her system.
155 nanograms per milliliter. And the therapeutic range of morphine is quantified as 10 to 80 nanograms per milliliter.
Prosecutors say her daughter, Susan Kubitschek, charged with second-degree murder, overdosed her mother with morphine, leading up to her death in May of 2017. Allen had been in and out of the hospital and began living with Kubitschek at her brother's Oshtemo Township home.
She did something she shouldn't have done, but she let people know what she was doing.
Prosecutors testified that a hospice caregiver warned Kubitschek she was giving her too much.
Was 20 times the amount required. Sue stated at that time, quote, "It's her time to go anyways."
A day later, Allen died. Kubitschek even admitted to detectives she used a large-barreled syringe to inject the medication.
And providing her mother milliliters of morphine and not milligrams. She also advised Susan had a history of running out of morphine in the last couple days of Dorothy's life.
Many family members, like Allen's son, Stephen Salick, wonder what her motivation was.
Did she do it out of compassion? I don't think she was ready to go. There was just nothing more she could do but just lay there in bed.
So was justice served in this case? We'll ask some family and close friends coming up on our story at 6 o'clock. For now, we're live in Kalamazoo County. Mike Kravesick, News Channel 3.
A local mother says she moved her family away from a big city to avoid violence, but then last weekend her son was shot in Battle Creek and died. Battle Creek police are working to find out who shot 17-year-old Marcus Flanagan and a 15-year-old boy early Sunday morning on Merritt Street. Shirley Waller says she moved here from St. Louis, Missouri several years ago to get her kids away from danger. She says losing her oldest son has taught her you can't run from violence.
That was my rock, man. That was my go-to for everything, no matter what. He was like, "Ma, I got it. Don't worry about it." But you know, I gotta stay strong for my other sons. And, you know, we gonna get through it.
At 6, hear more from Flanagan's mother and how police are working to solve this homicide and another one involving another young man.
Investigators need your help finding a Berry County man who's been missing for more than a week. They say Chad Pell was last seen leaving his home in Dowling on the morning of April 8th. We're told the 46-year-old has a mental condition and has been off of his medication for about a year. He was last seen driving a black Dodge Ram 1500 crew cab with Michigan license plate 3LMM93. Deputies say Pell may be trying to get to California. Anyone with information is asked to call authorities right away. A Senate subcommittee heard testimony from Olympic athletes today as part of an investigation into Olympic abuse.
Now, the elite athletes, some of them from Michigan, spoke passionately about how the national governing bodies failed to protect them. Mola Lengi reports now from Washington.
2000 Olympic bronze medalist Jamie Dasher told a Senate subcommittee she felt betrayed by her coaches and USA Gymnastics staff during a hearing on athlete abuse.
As many adults at USA Gymnastics, the United States Olympic Committee, Michigan State University, and in various gyms throughout the country kept Larry Nassar's secret. They failed to speak up, and they let Nassar assault children.
Jordan Weber, a member of the Fierce Five, the nickname given to the 2012 women's gymnastics team, says she was also abused by Larry Nassar. The former USA Gymnastics team doctor was convicted of multiple sex abuse crimes last year. He's serving more than 100 years in prison.
There's got to be a way to create champions that doesn't involve abuse, whether it be sexual or physical or emotional.
The Commerce Committee, which oversees U.S. Olympics and amateur sports, promised reform to address systematic problems handling abuse allegations and to find ways to better protect all athletes.
Across Olympic sports, there are stories of young athletes who have been victimized and have survived. We want to fight it and correct it and prevent it from happening again.
Weber is among the athletes who have filed individual lawsuits against the U.S. Olympic Organization and Michigan State University. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The subcommittee also plans to hold another hearing to get testimony from USA Olympics and Michigan State University.
West Michigan researchers are working on ways now to prevent serious brain injuries during sports. Tonight, we're getting a look at a new football helmet that will soon be on the market.
Would you know what to do in a life or death situation? I'm headed over at a class in Connecticut that teaches the public the skills to save a life.
Welcome back to News Channel 3 Live at 5 on this Wednesday. I'm Andy Dominiani.
And I'm Kate Tillotson. From terrorism to mass shootings to car accidents, victims can die within 5 to 10 minutes from uncontrolled bleeding.
Well, now a nationwide campaign is underway to teach ordinary folks how to respond in emergencies. Hannah Doba has more on the initiative called Stop the Bleed from Wallingford, Connecticut.
Okay. And then you just tighten this down.
Middle school teacher Bob Tarella is learning life-saving skills he hopes he never has to use in his classroom.
I think when you see all the things that have happened, it's pretty scary in the school systems now. And anything I think as a teacher I can do.
I mean something specifically.
He's among the dozens who came to the Emergency Management Center in Wallingford, Connecticut to take part in a program which teaches the public how to give aid to someone who is bleeding until medical help can get there. The Stop the Bleed program was launched after the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School.
Sandy Hook, as well as Pulse nightclub and the Boston Marathon bombing, a lot of people were injured and passed away from blood loss before they were able to reach the hospital or before first responders were able to get there.
24-year-old Jeremy Fridling is a paramedic and first-year med student at Quinnipiac University's School of Medicine.
Go ahead.
He and his classmates are certified instructors for Stop the Bleed.
It's not just about school shootings or bombings like the Boston Marathon where these skills matter.
Students practice on dummies and each other to learn how to pack a wound,
Red towards you,
apply a tourniquet, or a piece of cloth to control bleeding.
Sad that we have to learn this stuff.
But how important is it?
Extremely important. If you could save one life, it's well worth it.
Bob says he's grateful he now knows what he can do until help arrives. Hannah Doba, CBS News, Wallingford, Connecticut.
Trauma experts say the goal is to make this training just as common as CPR. To find out where you can get that training, visit the links section of our website, WWMT.com. All right, late April now, and another winter weather advisory is on the way. Keith has details in Severe Weather Center 3.
Andy, I am getting less popular by the minute.
You said it.
I am already in the witness protection program. I don't know how much more we can go, but fortunately, there is an end in sight. This winter weather advisory goes into effect at 11 o'clock tonight. You see the county shaded. A good portion of West Michigan is under this winter weather advisory, and it remains in effect until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, the good news here is that this system is moving pretty quickly, and so it's going to be out of here, taking the precip along with it, I think by about dawn tomorrow, maybe even a little bit earlier. The problem is the residual, the leftover there, might mean some slippery driving for your morning commute. But you see the counties again shaded, just about all of West Michigan, or at least a good portion of it. Counties right along the Michigan-Indiana line and well north of I-96 are not included in the advisory. Let's get to the here and now. And right now, we're tracking rain showers moving through West Michigan. Started out light, it's picking up a little bit. It's not expected to be a big rainmaker here by any stretch of the imagination. We might see about 1/10 of an inch. That's about it. As we put this into motion and then zoom in closer to give you a better view, you can see Allegan seeing some of that rain. Hastings, you're getting wet right now. Showers around Kalamazoo, picking up around South Haven and Three Rivers. Sturgis and Coldwater starting to see a little bit of that rain. Off to the west, that's where we're actually seeing this mix here, and the snow pretty heavy right now west of Milwaukee over to Madison in Wisconsin. Let's take a wider view here to show you what it looks like with the bigger picture. This is all wrapping around yet another area of low pressure that is bringing in that cold air and tapping into that with a lot of moisture. And this is going to be jetting off to the east here tonight. And as it does, it'll be bringing in the colder air. We'll see that rain turn to a rain-snow mix, and then it will be clearing out of here by daybreak tomorrow. I'm going to have your hour-by-hour breakdown on that coming up in a bit. Let's look outside right now where skies are cloudy in Battle Creek and some light rain already coming down right now in the Cereal City, and that is going to continue here throughout the evening before it turns into some snow, it looks like, by the time we get to about 11 o'clock or midnight or so. In the meantime, Kalamazoo, you're looking at 42 degrees right now, so our temperature is certainly too warm to have that snow. That'll change a little bit later on tonight. Battle Creek now at 43, 42 in Allegan, 40 in Grand Rapids. We have upper 30s to low 40s pretty much area-wide. So tonight, evening rain and then a wet snow overnight. That low will be at about 30 degrees. Tomorrow, our skies become mostly sunny. It will be a little bit warmer with a high in the mid-40s. Again, some morning cloud cover, but I think that system moves out of here in time to allow for a lot of sunshine tomorrow. We're going to start feeling like spring here over the weekend, especially next Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, when I think we'll even crack into the 60s, as it looks like that warmer air will be eventually moving in, and then hopefully all will be forgotten.
Maybe. Is there a weatherman protection program?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just hoping that the good weather that starts tomorrow, like I said, will make everyone forget.
It will be a long trend.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's going to be a warmer trend.
Okay. We'll hold you to it. Thanks, Keith. Well, police roll up to a crash and seconds later find themselves in a much more serious situation. Wow. Still ahead, what firefighters say caused this home to blow up.
Plus, a big city is starting to look more like an old Western ghost town. Why this community is suddenly being overwhelmed by tumbleweeds.
Welcome back. Police dashcam video captures the moment a home explodes in Southhurst, Texas. Wow. It happened on April 7th after a car crashed into a home. Fire officials say the car's brakes failed and the vehicle hit a gas line. A mother, father, and son inside the home were taken to area hospitals. The mother is in critical condition. The driver was not seriously hurt but was arrested for not having a valid driver's license. 2 police officers outside the home were also injured in the explosion. Well, that one got very close to it. Both are expected to recover.
Well, a California community is being overwhelmed by tumbleweeds. This was the scene on Tuesday in the high desert town of Victorville. Strong winds brought hundreds of tumbleweeds into the city, many of which piled up in people's yards. Crews had to be brought in to remove those prickly bushes by the truckload. One family was trapped in their home for 2 hours because of all the tumbleweeds at their front door and garage.
They were just flowing like it was a tornado yesterday, and it was just flowing from that side to this side, this side to this side.
Wow. Officials say that open fields are to blame for the problem. They say when the winds kick up, those tumbleweeds arrive in force.
Can't imagine opening my front door and seeing that.
I can't either.
Can't get anywhere. Here's a look at what's ahead on News Channel 3, live at 5:30.
People waste nearly a pound of food a day. I'm Meg Oliver in New York with a new study showing what people throw out the most.
We are learning new information now about that deadly mid-air engine explosion on board a Southwest Airlines flight. Jennifer Reardon, a married mother of 2, died yesterday when engine parts shattered the window where she was sitting on Flight 1380 from New York to Dallas. Passengers are calling the female pilot a hero for calmly guiding that plane to safety. Captain Tammy Jo Schultz is a former fighter jet pilot.
Mike Pompeo, the director of the CIA and President Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, pulled off a secret visit to North Korea over Easter weekend. The trip comes ahead of a planned summit that will have President Trump and Kim Jong-un meeting face-to-face. This morning on Twitter, President Trump confirmed that Pompeo met with the North Korean leader to lay the groundwork for a face-to-face summit later this year. The president said 5 summit locations are under consideration.
Well, there's much more ahead on News Channel 3, live at 5:30.
This memorial is growing for Barbara Bush. I'm Weijia Jiang in Houston, Texas, with a look at her life dedicated to family and public service.